Fishyaker.com, the original kayak rigging video series.
Hey guys, it's John again from Fishyaker. What's probably the most common kayak fishing accessory that we don't want to admit that we have? It's a pair of Croc shoes. Yep, you know it. A lot of us have them, whether we admit it or not. A lot of us actually use these as a very common kayak fishing shoe. There's a lot of pros and cons for these. What are the pros? Personally, I love wearing them. I wear a bunch of different types of shoes, but you know, if I'm not going to be doing much wading and I'm just going to do a lot of paddling, I'm going to stay inside the kayak, I love to wear a pair of Crocs. Why? Because these things are super lightweight. They drain really easily. They've got drain holes made right into them, molded right into them. They dry really quickly, so you don't have to worry about them being soaked on your feet all day. And most importantly, if you're as clumsy as I am, the most important thing, they float. The price for them is pretty much, it kind of goes both ways as a pro and a con. They're fairly affordable, you know, 30, 40 bucks. But for what you get, considering it's basically just foam plastic, maybe not that, you know, inexpensive, but for shoes in general compared to other shoes you may use for kayak fishing, they're affordable. They come in really handy too for putting over top of a pair of wading pants or breathable waders. You can get them in different sizes. There's some flex in them. You can put them on as regular you know, slip-ons. You can put the strap to the back. There's a lot of different types of generics and knockoffs on the market too, which are a lot more affordable than this. So they really come in handy. But like I said, they float, they drain really easily, and they dry super fast. Those are probably the big ones. You can also pick them up most anywhere, whether it be the main name brand Croc or one of the generic knockoffs. Now, what are some of the cons for them? Like I said, the price is kind of a con too, because there's not a whole lot to it. It's just a, you know, piece of foam plastic, not a whole lot to it. But for the price, I mean, I don't even want to know what the markup on these is from production to the final retail price. Let's say 40 bucks. So price can kind of go both ways. Some other cons to it. Some people say you shouldn't wear shoes that have holes in them or are soft if you're going to be fishing because you can get a foot hook stuck in your foot. A lot of those wear sandals and stuff anywhere, even fish barefoot, so that's a personal decision. A few other things. Probably the biggest con that I think of when I think of Crocs, like this one here is kind of worn a little bit. When these puppies get kind of worn on the bottom, they can be slick as ice. So if you're walking around on wet floors, on terrazzo, something like that, or even in mud, if you've worn off that initial, slick surface, smooth surface on them, they become really kind of dangerous almost. They become really slippery. So some of the cons, they can become slippery when they're worn. You can get hooks stuck in them. The price is a little bit up there for what you get. The knockoffs, too, a lot of us really don't want to support knockoffs. I know Crocs has had some issues in the past financially because initially before they kind of branched out into a lot of different types of products and other shoe wear, they had some financial problems because there were so many generics on the market that were stealing their market share. But pros and cons, like I said, they're affordable, they're easy to find. You can find them on the internet, find them at a local store. But come on, man, I know a lot of you guys are probably using these. I use Keens primarily for a lot of my more serious fishing when I'm wading and stuff like that. But if I'm just going out for a little while, I usually have these on, or if I'm putting something on really quickly over some dry pants or waders or something. If I'm not going to be out a whole lot trying to stand up on slick surfaces, I will wear these. I also love to travel with them. They're super comfortable, really easy to, slide on and off your feet. When I fly, I usually wear these too, just because when I'm going through security checks, I can kick them on and off real easily, and they barely weigh anything at all, so it's easy to pack them. So I usually have a nicer pair of shoes when I'm traveling. I'll still kind of wear these until I get to my destination. But just food for thought. Like I said, a lot of us have these, a lot of us use them, a lot of us don't want to admit it. But probably the most popular shoe in kayak fishing is a pair of Crocs. So if you don't have some, might be good kind of to pick them up, because like I said, you can be out there paddling in these, you can wear them, you can get wet with them, you can get them soaking wet, and in a couple of minutes flat they'll be dry, not like, you know, a pair of canvas shoes or something like that. They're going to be soaked all day long. Even a lot of your sandals and stuff are still going to absorb some water and still kind of have to dry out overnight. These, they're dry right away. Like I said, probably the biggest problem is they become really, really slippery on slick surfaces when they get a little bit worn. But anyway, thought I'd touch on it. So if you don't have a pair of these in your kayak fishing arsenal, go out and pick up a pair of Crocs. Preferably the name brand, but like I said, you can find a lot of generics out there that are pretty decent quality. But you gotta be careful too, because if they're inferior plastic, they might be really slippery to walk in themselves, or they might wear out really quickly. So thanks for watching again. Fishyaker.com.